And remember, before you act, get the fact. It's way too easy to say, oh, that club went down because they did something wrong. Oh, that person went down because they did something wrong. Oh, those guys were just dirty balls, I know it. And rumors can circulate in our business like no other. Fast, fast, fast. Almost as fast as Pitbull got to India. I don't even know how it got there. Well, it got there through a silk merchant, but it got there the same year we got the release out. Amazing. So don't be a part of the rumor mill. Please talk to people, open the communication up. Let's support each other. Let's go forward together. Big business is here. Things such as Berkeley Patients Group and Advanced Nutrients. If you're not familiar with Berkeley Patients Group, they were a nice mom and pop kind of we will help you group. They probably still are. But the point is they developed into a big corporation. I can tell you this because they were bidders at places like the New Jersey licensing, the Rhode Island licensing. They happen to own.
They got 5 of the licenses.
They own 5. They bought 5 of the Maine licenses of production and dispensing for Maine. That took big, big dollars. If you're not familiar, we were consultants to some of these states for some of those operations. And by the way, that's not our building. I just threw our logo on that picture. We have no building.
Yeah, people think that this is Stony Girl Gardens. The reality is we have a 4-patient garden in our garage at home. And we work with other breeders around the state. But we're not some giant conglomerate. We're just a little home garden.
The point is there are big businesses out there, and what we don't want to happen here in Oregon is what's happened in some places such as New Jersey and Colorado, where it takes you an extreme large amount of money to even enter the market. In New Jersey, just to bid for a place was a non-refundable $20,000 drop in the bucket. Just to fill out the paperwork and send it in, whether you got accepted or not. It's very expensive in Colorado. Right now in Sacramento, again, they're going to spend about $250,000 shutting down the largest dispensary in Sacramento this week to open it next week with the correct permitting now, the new permitting process that they have. So, be careful not to overcomplicate the things that we want to make and build for the future. Be careful because complication does bring confusion and does drive up the cost. And keep it available to small businesses. Remember that inventing the wheel doesn't work in our case. We need to be using existing systems when possible. They're easier to design, they're easier to integrate, and they're easier to understand. And building a 5th wheel doesn't work either. Keep it simple and take steps. We can't do everything in one day, but it would be nice to. What we do need to look forward to is an open architecture allowing all models to work. In fact, I'm all for dispensary and production licensing here in Oregon, but I think it needs to be open. I don't think it needs to be structured. I don't think it needs to be long. I think it needs to be about 3 sentences long. We could actually probably do the whole thing by just saying, taking out a few simple words in the language that we have that says we will be allowed compensation. Right now, what's in the works for the future? I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer and let her have a few moments.
So, ever since our medical marijuana program has been with us, every single legislative session we have seen attacks on the program. And in the fall, we see a bunch of newspaper articles about how there's all this huge abuse of the program. And then in February, we see a bunch of bills talking about how we need to reduce the number of plants we can have, the amount we can have, and any other agreement that they ever made with us, they try to go back on and chip away at. So, this year we've seen a lot of news about medical marijuana, safe access. Each time that we opened one of our clubs, we interfaced with the city council, we interfaced with law enforcement, we interfaced with the local media. We got a lot of media coverage this year. We got the cover of the Willamette Week, even. Big pressure on the legislature. They thought they had finally beat back this silly safe access idea. There's a lot of folks who were very angry that even after Measure 74 failed, we went forward and started creating safe access. But that's too bad. We're following the rules, and the reason we're implementing like we are is because we do need to put pressure on the legislature to give us the rules that we need, which is why we asked each and every city council, and we went to 35 of them, to ask the legislature to bring safe access legislation this year. Now, we've been told over and over by legislators that no, there's not going to be any medical marijuana bills this session. We don't have time for that, and we don't want all that trouble. But 4 representatives who bring bills every single session to chip away at our medical marijuana rights took a field trip down to High Hopes Farm to see what was going on. You know, that was the one that the helicopter took photos of. No warrant, mind you. Just flying over, took photos, and called it abuse of the program. So they came down to see what was going on. Well, the fact that they're leaving their offices and going somewhere tells me that they have plans. They're going to be bringing a bill. They already brought a bill trying to get rid of as many patients as possible with this new fee increases that they just brought. That was all about pricing people out of the program. This program's getting too big, too fast, and they want to slow it down. That's why they made it cost more, because that's how you slow the roll of anything. Make it more expensive. Meanwhile, here we are. We've got 3 different ballot initiatives coming. We support all of them. I don't care which one you sign them all. Vote for them all. It doesn't matter. The point is we have to move forward. We also need to push Governor Kulongoski to join the reschedule petition. Right now, Governors Chaffee, Gregoire, and Shumlin are petitioning the federal government to reschedule marijuana at federal level. Now, that's the only thing that's keeping us back, really, is the federal Schedule 1 of marijuana. If it was Schedule 2 or lower, the state could regulate it and it wouldn't be a problem. So we all need to get all of our patients involved, calling the governor and pushing for reschedule. Because Schedule 2 is a lot better than Schedule 1. Schedule 1 means no matter who you are, you go to jail for having this. Schedule 2 means if your doctor signs your application, you can have it. And now we can have things like research. Now, y'all may not know this, but from 2000 to 2007, I had 1 to 2,000, 1 to 2 mil tumors in my lungs, 3 larger masses wrapped around my trachea. In 2007, they said, look, you're not the spring chicken you were when we started this game when you were 25. You're 40 now. And you're not someone who's never had radiation. You've had more than we normally give to people. So we're probably not going to give you more treatment to you. And they declared my cancer stabilized, and that was it. So last fall, I did a cannabis extract oil treatment. 6 weeks, I was on Simpson oil kind of thing. And when they did my scans in January, all of the cancer was gone. It was my first negative scans in 17 years. My doctor was... My doctor was the head of the palliative care unit at OHSU. And I said, look, we never thought this would happen for me, so send me you're desperate, you're dying, you're decrepit, and let's see what we can do. Because you can't do clinical trials. You can't do double-blind placebos. But you also can't stop people from joining the medical marijuana program, and you can do outcome studies. You see what my outcome's been, let's see what we can do. And we've been able to get one patient off of her morphine and her Oxycontin. We've been able to reduce melanoma. We've been able to reduce other tumors. And each one of these patients is being documented. That's a way that we can push forward. So get your patients to talk to their doctors about doing outcome studies, because it is vital that we explain to our legislators the good that we are doing, the benefit that we bring to the community. What I've been talking, and the other thing I found is too many times medical cannabis folks want to go out there and engage law enforcement. They want to have a big old fight. And that's not the approach we need. Don't go where they are. Go to the healthcare committees. Medical marijuana is a healthcare program. And I have spent the last 3 years at healthcare policy making committees, and there's no cops there. Law enforcement officers do not make healthcare policy. It is a safe place you can go and tell your story. And the story that I tell them is that in 1993, I was diagnosed with the most advanced case of thyroid cancer ever seen in a living patient at OHSU. I was going to the emergency room 7 to 10 times every year. I was taking 25 to 35 pills a day. I was seeing my doctor twice a month for 2 or 3 hours every visit. Once I joined the medical marijuana program, within 6 months I was down to 2 pills a day. I have not been to the emergency room in 12 years. And I only saw my doctor last year to confirm the fact that my cancer was gone and renew my marijuana license. That means that I have reduced my prescription drug use, my hospital visits, my doctor visits, and I have freed up resources for patients across the state. Now that is major impact. The folks that I'm talking to are folks like the Oregon Health Fund Board, and they understand that 10% of Oregonians generate 69% of our healthcare costs. If we can impact that population and see the improvement that I have seen, we can have healthcare for every patient in Oregon. And we can afford to pay for it with cost savings alone. So that's the message that I've been taking. And I've also been explaining that what we're doing with these clubs is creating community-based healthcare that costs less, does more, and creates jobs for Oregon, where we've had 10% unemployment for more than 10 years. Now these hit all 3 of our governor's primary goals and his primary focuses. And he needs to understand that reschedule makes these clubs safer. And we need it. And that's what we need him fighting for. Meanwhile, we all need to be calling our representatives, state senator, state representative, talking to them about how the medical marijuana program has been a positive thing in our lives. Because all they hear is negative, negative, negative from our opponents. And they've worked really hard to pull a divide and conquer in this community by convincing folks that, oh, your grower's greedy, he's ripping you off. Pot should be free. And I'm sorry, it's not free. It costs to produce. Folks need to pay for what it costs, and then everybody will be better.